Hello, this is Igor Stenmark of MGI Research, and we are at the Monetize Forum 2021 conference. In our next session, how to pick an implementation partner for quote to cash, we will chat with Mr. Tim Fraser. Tim is the VP of Strategy Consulting at quote to cash systems integration firm Forsys. Tim has recently joined Forsys from Tableau Software. At Tableau, Tim led one of the largest migrations of Salesforce CPQ to Apttus, which is now known as Conga. Prior to that, Tim was senior director in Apttus professional services business, where he led IBM Global through their quote-to-cash transformation. In his 35 plus year career in technology, Tim tackled a broad range of challenges at companies small and large across a spectrum of disciplines and industries. So he's a very experienced technologist. Tim, welcome to Monetize Forum 2021. Pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be on this platform. Great to be here in this virtual setting.
Thank you. Great to have you. So to start out, could you give us just a bit of introduction to who is Forsys? What's the background? What's the backstory? What do you guys do? What's your focus? What's the scale of the business?
Sure. By the numbers, Forsys has been running under the Forsys umbrella for just over from 2015. And honestly, the organization was founded by some very senior leaders with very deep lead to cash, quote to cash experience with over 25 years each. So when you get a bunch of frustrated execs who want to do it differently and do something that's value for the clients, they form the company. Forsys umbrella is relatively new on the scene, but the experience of the leaders come from a very deep and very broad, an enterprise scale. And so the company's been around for a while. The experience goes much further back. Obviously, we have strong leaders, myself and my peers in this. We provide really deep services around lead to cash, quote to cash. But we have expanded our portfolio to really work on financial management, also supply chain management. And as we get into a little bit more about what we do, I'll explain how we are not just an SI doing implementations. We're also doing business value consulting, and we're doing managed services. So we're really creating a very strong portfolio. So because we're building what the clients are asking us to do, because we are very strong in delivery and value. So that's the summary of us.
Right. I mean, we know of you primarily as a kind of a specialist in integrating monetization, integrating quote to cash. But I know that you, besides being a kind of a competent SI player, you guys also have one of a few firms that has a viable kind of a product operation where you actually turn some of that expertise into development of products. Can you talk about that aspect of the business a bit and what your strategy is in this area?
Sure. We've actually experienced a lot of our product development and has been done with a very practical need. We work with our clients. We see that our clients get frustrated with very long-tailed implementations, very risky implementations, because from our perspective, because we see patterns of how things work. When we go with clients, it looks like it's unique to them, but in reality, it's not as one-off. So we looked at where the sweet spots are for the things that we can normalize and reduce and productize. We actually call them our accelerators. It's we have multiple companies that we have incubated. And one of them happens to be, Rise. Rise is a B2B e-commerce platform. If you know how long it takes to get a B2B e-commerce platform up and running with a complex CPQ go-to-market strategy underneath it, it can take months. I worked in some very large 3-letter companies that it took years. So we built a out-of-the-box configuration for example, product development just for fit to purpose for CPQ. So we bolt onto Rise bolts onto pretty much anybody's CPQ, and it has a headless e-commerce front to that. So that's one example. Second example is we are asked to do a lot of org consolidations in Salesforce and migrations of data, very practical things. And of course, there's lots of companies that are out there doing it and charging a ton of money to give you a tool. We embed that into our services. And we actually do that because at the end of the day, we're going to get a product out the door faster for the client. So we did a practical approach on that. And we have a product called called Flow Data. Flow Data moves flow data between systems, not just for migration, but also as a SaaS-based integration platform. And we've also got another company which is actually here in the forum under its own umbrella. It's IARA, and IARA is both revenue intelligence as well as revenue recognition. So we have both sides of that. And the key thing there is we've got mature products and incubations that we are hoping that we will not only be able to use for ourselves, but be able to offer those products to our clients to use directly.
What do you think is your strategy overall? Are you going to just basically sort of continue operating as an SI umbrella when incubate some of the software businesses as opportunities come up, or what's your plan in this area?
Well, we're all about strategic partnerships in this area. We think what we've done for ourselves to really improve what we do for our clients and bring rapid time to value to our clients. Some of our partners need it. So we are doing strategic partnerships with companies like Apttus, and we're in discussions right now with other large companies that can't be named, but they're looking at white labeling some of what we do so they can enhance their portfolio, because we're very clearly fitting solutions in the quote to cash arena, or even the revenue recognition and the billing life cycle. So if you really look at the middle office, there's a lot of connectors where the things that we're doing to improve the value for our clients are being looked at to enhance the core product capabilities of some of the products that just don't meet the market needs.
Got it. Going back for a few seconds here, to more of a SI strategy, systems integration. We often see some of our clients spending months and months trying to select the product in a particular area as it applies to CPQ. Could be in quote to cash, could be in CPQ, could be in billing in particular, could be in contract management.
Sure.
So we spend 4, 5, 6, 9 months going through a selection effort, and then we say, oh, we also need an integration partner, and that takes between 2 days and 2 weeks. And not surprisingly, there's a high failure rate or dissatisfaction rate in those instances. How do you think, what advice can you offer us? How do you think a company should be thinking about selection of a SI partner? What should be the process? What should be your approach?
Sure. Little Forsys DNA. Forsys, obviously, every company that starts small and starts to get their legs underneath them. Forsys has always had the domain expertise. It's just about what does Forsys and what how are we positioned for the market. We started out with a lot of companies, approaching us to say, hey, we've got a problem. We hired a consulting company and they can't deliver, and we need somebody to come in and bail us out. I'm actually dealing with those actively still, because it's a lot of times the profile we've seen is as much time as companies look at solving their business problems, really looking at the business value side of that, looking at their integration challenges. A lot of times they just want to push that off to somebody, and most of the integration companies come in with a very narrow focus. And this is how my box works, and you got to fit inside my box. That bridging process becomes contentious because a lot of the companies are not ready for complexity of enterprise scale, or even small companies that are growing to large companies with lots of these SaaS products and tools. So our DNA has been around helping clients reconnect with their projects and fix them. But what they've discovered is that we are very strategic in how we approach it. So we've naturally grown into our business value consulting, the strategy consulting. So my advice right now is you will spend a lot of time as an integrator. If you just want an integrator and you want to ship your work out to the cheapest bidder, be careful what you buy, but what you search for, because you will get exactly what you think, and maybe a little more, which is the wrong side of the equation. You look for a partner that you want to look for, somebody that can provide you at the right time unbiased opinions about a particular technology and solution in a business context. We really focus, we're very strong in the business alignment, business strategy, and then working to say, these are the right technology fixes. So we provide you really solutions that are aligned to your technology roadmap. And if you don't have one, we can help you with that. But it's really about the last mile of picking an implementation partner. May look like you start with that, But in reality, you'll do yourself a much better service to look at somebody who can provide you more of a roadmap and a guidance as an advisor that can have skin in the game, and not somebody that says, I'm an advisor, I'm going to write your paper, and somebody else is going to do the implementation. Oh, no, not my problem. We take it end to end in our partnership with our clients. So that's our differentiator in that.
Right. What should companies expect from an SI firm, and what kind of makes relationship work, and conversely, what can put it at risk?
Honestly, I call it's purely skin in the game. You can't just have a punch list of things in a work order that's got to get done, and throw bodies at it. You really have to understand. The SI partner needs to really understand your business. 90% of the time, we all have the same issues. The business wants this, the tech wants this, implementation fits in the middle, and we shoehorn things into that. Having a technology integration partner that really has the diversity of experience of tech, understands what integration is about. It's not just about, I used to work, as a matter of fact, you mentioned in the intro that I worked for Tableau. Tableau's one of the largest data companies around, and one of the largest data migrations I did. And the classic message I got from the execs was, oh, what's so hard? It's ETL, extract, translate, and load. Take the data from here, suck it in, throw it into that system. What's so hard about that? We have tons of tools that do ETL. And why does it take so long to implement? It's because the extract logic, the transformation logic, and then the target, which might be something that's a known product, like a Salesforce platform, Apttus platform in the CPQ. The hardest part is your business. It's the knowing how your business works and extracting the data in the context of 20 years of history. How do you read the information? Really drilling into the details. We're all about really getting to that level of detail to understand and expose. Just because somebody who's fresh and new to the company that says, I have a requirement, and you write it down, that's not the requirement. You're going to look at the data, and you're going to go, the data is going to tell you what the requirement is, more so than your business also telling you the requirements. You have to balance that, discover it early, and be a partner with your client early, so you don't start a project until you're really ready with the quality of information that's going forward. And that's really an SI partner. Even if they come in late, they really need to step forward and challenge those upfront questions and make sure that those are exposed before you start checking boxes on a deliverable.
Right. So it sounds like what you guys bring to the table. So you bring domain expertise, both technical and business, and best practices. Absolutely. In many cases, and kind of a advisory perspective as well. And then you have pre-packaged relationships with software suppliers as well. So I wanted to ask you to talk a bit more, expand on what your partnership strategy is. Who do you guys work with right now? What makes a relationship work, and what makes it something that you want to forget?
Sure, because we're Salesforce first as a platform, and the Salesforce as a partner, we're a strategic partner with Salesforce in that we understand native Salesforce products. We have expertise in native Salesforce products, and if you decide that you want to use Salesforce CPQ, we are a quote to cash domain leader. We understand quote to cash end to end. But in that, because we're doing quote to cash, you've got the cash side. We understand the revenue side. We understand the ERP integrations. We understand the bidirectional feeds when you start breaking systems apart and how they got to fit back together. So we've actually built services and practices, not just in the quote to cash arena, but also the revenue management, as I mentioned, which we've built some products and we spun those off as companies, and we're using them. So, but we are also an Oracle partner around a lot of the ERP systems. We also have a very strong understanding with other ERP. Basically, there's a very myriad of ERP systems. The point here is, a strategic partnerships is primarily in the Salesforce ecosystem, Oracle ecosystem, and some of the key popular ERP solutions. We're actively doing a rationalization on ERP solutions and reducing that, and doing really an M&A approach on that. So when you look at it, we're not just a quote to cash only, because when you start looking at two systems you buy and you're trying to integrate your process and flow, it's really about the business integration first, and then process integration first, data integration, and bringing those together. And that requires multiple technologies and disciplines. And Salesforce, Oracle, NetSuite, Apttus, those are just tools in our wheelhouse.
from a practical perspective, so we oftentimes see companies say, well, I'm going to go to PwC or Accenture or Deloitte, they are my big supplier, and I'll throw a problem at them, let them figure it out. What sets a firm like yours, where you are kind of a focus specialist, from going, say, to a larger, like a global SI provider?
Sure. I say that, I say this with a little bit of a caveat. I have used global providers in my career a lot.
Sure.
There's a time and place where you really need if you're trying to do some fundamental organizational shift and organizational changes. Working with the large provider will bring the discipline and the methodology of how to change your org from the top down, which is very difficult, honestly, as we know. Everybody wants to do transformation. What they forget to point out is that you have to rewire while you're doing transformation, and all that requires some very strong, a big company leadership, very strong risk management. In that they're taking a lot of risk to be there. We are not that company. We are and we're not the guy that's just going to be there and do an implementation and walk away. Where we fit is we are really in that sweet spot in the middle, where you're looking for somebody to fit your DNA, and your DNA is you're moving fast, and you actually want somebody to take a strong investment view, which means skin in the game, come in and be able to provide some thought leadership, but also be agile. We are a very agile company for our DNA. We move quickly, but we take a very definitive methodological approach. But the key thing is, what we do is rapid time to value. It is always our DNA. We bring value much faster than anybody else, and which also means we're not going to take the 2-year projects. Okay, we're not going to take the 2 to 3-year projects, and we're not going to embed into your organization and then hope that we're going to have a long ride with you. We're not that. We really want to be in and out and give you value, because we didn't get to this place where we can claim we have 100% referenceable clients. Most of the companies can't do that. Okay, and the reason why we do that is because we take a very strong agile approach, not only on what your needs are, understanding the domain expertise that it's going to take to do that, and truly having skin in the game to get it done. And we have a balanced portfolio. We have onshore teams, nearshore teams, and we have offshore teams, so we can provide the financial benefits that the big guys are doing anyway. But a lot of the high level and strategic thinking really needs to be done in a way that is you don't cut corners, and you do it with the right skills at the right time.
When you look at quote to cash projects, implementation projects, integration projects, transformation projects, what makes them succeed? Is there a common thread here? So when they succeed, why do they succeed? And when they fail, why do they fail?
Sure. I'm actually working on one that is quite complex and very large, and that's a good case study in the back of my mind to just kind of use that as an example. The things that are working on that project is we both, when we were brought to the table to do it, we're doing an M&A transformation in a multiple Salesforce orgs combining in. This particular one happens to be just like we talked before, some Salesforce converting into Apttus, some Apttus converting into Apttus, and 2 orgs combining. You could probably guess who that company is, but the point is, in that scenario, it's a very open, honest conversation at the leadership level. It is about how are we going to be successful. We got to do this fast, and we have to do it in a way that it won't be perfect. And having the ability to work within the guidelines of the budget to make those adjustments, the agility we were talking about, right? Having a partner relationship with your customer is vital, because if it becomes contentious, you did this, I did this, that it just goes south pretty quickly. And quite frankly, if you want somebody to come in and just pick up the ball and run and tell you what all the answers are, we can do that, but we found that our clients prefer the other, which is a partnership. So really the differentiator for working with clients and success is having a realistic expectation. Most of our customers that come in and do massive transformation, we need to take our gloves off and just tell them what it's going to take. And we do that upfront. The ones that respond well to that, we tend to do business with, because the ones that don't, and they want to say, no, you guys are you're overplaying this. They're the ones that actually have come back. We've had one client that have actually come back to us a year after they went with another lower bidder provider, and they now are asking us to do strategic work, really look at their business operations not just a tactical implementation partner, but really how are we going to change our business, because the business was not having a hard time, and they never saw that the business transformation is about changing the minds of the people, and you're not going to do it as an offshore development with some guy writing a spec or writing to a spec. You're going to do it with the people in the trenches with your clients and convincing them on a new way of working and having skin in the game to say, we're going to help you make this work. That's the relationship difference that I've seen that works, and where it doesn't work is where it's purely a contractual discussion.
Got it. Well, Tim, it's been fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us here today. And want to remind our audience to visit, you guys have a booth on virtual exhibit floor. Feel free to visit and connect with Tim and his colleagues to answer any questions you may have about quote to cash, and enjoy the rest of Monetize Forum 2021. Hope to have you back again, Tim. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.